Help support our channel grow by liking our video. Greetings, Earthlets, it's your old pal GateKeeper. I suppose before we start this week's video, we should address the elephant in the room. As you'll be aware, last Friday, Dr. Von Evildude and myself went to the Trinity Walk to launch the Star Walk event, and the weather was pretty bad, and all I got away with was a bad hair day. But unfortunately, Doctor caught the colds. So it was decided that I'd do the video this week while they were in bed, resting and, recovering. But we're still here, and whilst we're talking about the Star Walk event, don't forget, like this video and subscribe to our channel. Every new subscriber we'll get, we will donate one comic book to the Forget-Me-Not Children's Hospice. So do it for the kids, please. So, without further ado, why don't we take a look at this week's comic books, because there's quite a few new releases and series starting. So, up first, from AWA, we have Hit Me, a high-octane crime thriller. Lulu has a very unique problem. She gets paid by the bruise. When she is witness to the execution of one of her regular clients, she escapes into the night with a briefcase filled with diamonds and packs of killers on a trail. Navigating the dark underbelly of decaying early 90s Atlanta City, one step ahead of her pursuers, Lulu must call upon every one of her street-born instincts and underworld connections in what will be the longest and possibly last night of her life. Oh my, that does sound somewhat scary. But moving on to hopefully a happier comic, we have Bemouth Comics with their new release, Follow Me Into the Darkness. Less than a day until the apocalypse, the darkness guides Yuko and Sebastian to Alaska. There, they will look for a girl who lives hiding in the forest and who may be the key to prevent the imminent final judgment. Meanwhile, the children of the comet face a new and peculiar threat in Cosimo's Chinatown. Get yours in store tomorrow. Well, now moving on to DC Comics and their first new release of Naomi. This is soon to be a CW television show from Anna Duvernay. But she's back. Naomi returns to the pages of her own series to uncover the truth behind the mysteries around herself and her powers. The entire creative team behind the critically acclaimed and Eisner Award nominated debut series return to answer all these questions that surround Naomi, her legacy, and her place in the DC pantheon. Guest starring Black Adam, Superman, and the Justice League, plus the return of Zombardo. Get your copy in store tomorrow. Staying with DC Comics, we've got Trial of the Amazons. After the events of Nubia and the Amazons, the dangers of Doom's doorway have found their way to man's world and garnered the attention of not one, but all three Amazonian tribes. DC Comics proudly presents the first Wonder Woman crossover of its kind, brought to you by the writers behind Wonder Woman, Nubia and the Amazons, and Wonder Girl, and some of the best and brightest artists in the industry. You won't want to miss this monumental story that brings all the Wonder Woman titles and characters together and changes them for good. Moving along now to Image Comics with their new release of Little Monsters. They are the last children on Earth, who also happen to be vampires. For longer than they can remember, these child vampires have lived a life of eternal wonder amongst the ruins of humanity. But shocking events fracture the group and set them on a path of discovery that will shatter their innocence forever. Find out what it means and more in store tomorrow. And now moving on to Marvel Comics and the first of their many new releases, it's Captain Carter, a woman out of time. A reality where Peggy Carter took the super soldier serum is turned upside down when the World War II hero is plucked from the ice where she was lost in action decades before. Peggy struggles to find her footing in a modern world that's gotten a lot more complicated. Cities are louder, technology is smarter, and enemies wear friendlier faces. Everyone with an agenda wants Captain Carter on their side. But what does Peggy want? And will she have time to figure it out when the mysterious forces are already gunning for her? Get your favorite character from the Marvel What If series in our all-new comic starting tomorrow. Moving along, but staying with Marvel, we have Devil's Reign Moon Knight. After being arrested by the Thunderbolts as part of Wilson Fisk's crackdown on costumes heroes, Moon Knight is now a prisoner in the high-tech Myrmidon. Surrounded by hostile guards and many of the very criminals he helped put away, Mark Spector must fight for his survival. But Moon Knight's quest for justice doesn't end just because of a little light incarceration. Get this Devil's Reign tie-in tomorrow. And now it's the return of an old favorite to Marvel Comics. It's Punisher. Will the Punisher's war end? Born out of tragedy, devoted to war, unstoppable in his rage, as the Punisher, Frank Castle has become the most accomplished killer the world has ever seen. Now it's time for him to face his true destiny. What shocking secrets from Frank's past will convince him to take the reins of the Marvel Universe's notorious clan of assassins? And once Frank becomes the warlord of the deadly ninjas of the Hand, will it also mean an end of the Punisher? Or a whole new bloody beginning? Get ready for an epic exploration of the dark and violent past and inevitable future of one of Marvel's most iconic characters, Punisher, Issue 1, in store tomorrow. Up next from Marvel Comics, we've got Spider-Gwen, Gwenverse. Not enough Gwens, eh? When Gwen Stacy was bitten by a radioactive spider, she gained arachnid-like superpowers and started a crime-fighting career as Spider-Woman, or, as she's affectionately known to her peers, Ghost Spider. But what would have happened if instead she had have picked up the enchanted Hammer Mjolnir? Or if she'd have received the Super Soldier Serum? Or built a high-tech suit of armor? Or, well, you get the idea. Find out in this new 5-part miniseries as Ghost Spider tumbles through time and comes face to face with herself. Now still with Marvel, we have a new release in the Star Wars series. It's Star Wars, Han Solo and Chewbacca. I suppose with hair like this I do look a little bit like Chewbacca myself. Anyway, a new ongoing series. Han Solo is back. But wait, isn't Han Solo still frozen in carbonite? Yes, but you can't keep a good smuggler down. Set a few years before Episode 4, A New Hope, Han, his partner Chewbacca, and Greedo embark on a heist for Jabba the Hutt. It's supposed to be an easy job. What could possibly go wrong? Well, for starters, how about a reunion with the very last person Han expected to see? No spoilers, but the last page is an absolute jaw-dropper. You really want to get this one tomorrow? The final new release from Marvel Comics is The Woman of Marvel. As you know, today's been International Women's Day, and so this is a great one to pick up. You can celebrate the talented female creators who have made Marvel the powerhouse that it is, take on fan favorite characters within the Marvel Universe. From seasoned veterans to up-and-coming talent, the cast of writers and artists give their own spin on beloved heroines, showing the fire, mystery, grace and joy that make them phenomenal women. This issue is an absolute must-have for any fan of Marvel Comics, so get your copy in store tomorrow. And our final new release this week from Ani Press is Rick and Morty Infinity Hour. Rick Sanchez has always known he was destined for greater things. When that greater thing calls, will he be ready to answer? Rick is recruited to join a galactic rebellion, forming a bond with a ragtag group of freedom fighting mystics and mercenaries. Can this team of would-be heroes overthrow the Galactic Federation? Find out when this release comes out tomorrow. Well, that was an absolutely amazing amount of new comic releases, but as always, they'll be in store tomorrow bright and early from 9 a.m. So please don't forget, like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us across all social medias at WikiComics616 for updates on all the new geeky goodies available in store every day. And hopefully next week the doctor's a little bit more back to normal. And I don't know about this hair. What do you think? Comment below. Should I keep it or should I change it? So, until then, I've been Gatekeeper, and as the doc says,